Hey,
Hey,
hey, I don't want to start this one off. Can one of y'all start off? Like I literally just got done
Relax,
shrinking the
Rick.
window.
it
My
already got
mind is fried.
it already got started. So thanks for starting off. And welcome everyone to Tint Wisdom number 90, a roundtable with the Window Film Revolution core group leaders. Today I am joined, starting with that side is Dean, then Robbie, then Boyd, then Rick.
Hey guys.
I love y'all.
I like y'all.
Perfect. So, okay, today this is our second week of doing this. Last week we kind of talked about, the window film revolution, maybe the mission behind it, the website, and so on. I think we have an opportunity to get some different perspectives, additional information on that. So, if possible, I think why don't we kick it off with Dean? Dean, you made a post with your certificate from Window Film Revolution a couple days ago, and you had your perspective with it. So I feel like maybe that's a good time to kind of share what the certificate means to you, because these certificates are a pretty hot topic right now amongst the Facebook groups. Like there's a certificate buzz. So I figured why don't we start with that.
Well, listen, certificate buzz. The way I see it is kind of the way I explained it on my post is, there's no better way to show our customers, where we learn our stuff, where we come from, where, who we're surrounded by. And, like I said in the post, if I still had a shop, obviously I don't have a shop anymore, but I'm very proud to have that in my office right now. But I would blow it up, put it on the wall. Customer walks in, they can see the certificate, and they're like, "What's W?" I'd have it on my company, just so that customers have to ask questions, right? And you have to ask the right questions as a pitcher, and they have to, they have to want to ask questions, and they have to want to know where you're coming from, your background, and how do you get better, and you have to make them feel that you want to learn, that you're in the industry to grow, and that little piece of paper might seem useless to some people, but when you're a business person and you can prove to your customers that you're well surrounded, you're networking with the best in the industry, you're staying in a group that's going to help you grow, that's going to help you not screw up anything, and help you do a better job. That's how I see it, and that's what I would want. That's why I would blow it up and make it visible so that my customers would say, "What the hell's WFR? What's this?" Well, this is what it is. Now you explain exactly what it is. Go ahead.
Hang on real quick. There's just some feedback coming through. I'm not sure who it's coming from, but it's just kind of going over your voice. So I just kind of want to take a pause and make sure, because it's hard to hear you. It's a little hard to hear you.
This is a little.
And I just have no idea where it's coming from. I just wanted to isolate it because.
Is it better now?
Now it is. Yep.
I can hear you clear.
Okay.
I couldn't a few minutes ago though.
Well, I kicked my ladies out of the house, so it can't be me. So yeah, basically that's what I was saying. I mean, if you put it on the wall, you make sure that the customer sees it, and that they ask questions, and they you tell them what it's there for. Explain to them what it means, and it just reassures the customer that they're giving their investment to you, and they want something done good, and they want to make sure that you're on top of your game. And having that and showing it, explaining what it is, gives the customer a lot of confidence, and they know that you want to constantly improve. And again, not to be repeating myself, but not to screw up whatever you have to do on their vehicles. That's the way I see it, and I think it's a huge plus. And along with the other things that are coming along with this, with everything, every good thing that WFR is putting forward. There's a lot of good things coming that Rick will get into, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for Rick. I'm excited for the group. I'm excited for every single member that's in this group, and good things to come in the industry. That's for sure.
Can I add something to Dean's comment? When people ask what something is about, listen, let's go to history here. Who in this industry has successfully done what we're wanting to do? Okay, listen, I don't use Lumar at my shop, but Lumar, and you can put them above 3M. When somebody comes into, what are the two brands that people ask you about when somebody comes into your shop? Do you carry 3M? That's the first one. A lot of times, do you carry Lumar? All
Expert,
right.
I would say now is the second one. The third one might be Lumar.
Well, we definitely got to put Expel in there too. Obviously, look, but here's the deal. Yeah, baby. Um, Here's the deal. Lumar, as how did they become successful? It started off as grassroots because we didn't have social media back then. We had telephones, like normal telephones that are hooked to a wall, right? And so how did Lumar become so successful? They were able to make their dealers believe in what they were doing. And when customers came to that individual shop that was selling Lumar, what's the first thing out of that guy's mouth? We sell the best. We have the best film possible. Okay, I don't care. Now, for what we're doing, I want us to follow that same thing. It has to be grassroots because we can't, we all have to pitch in. If just one of us is sitting on our tail saying, let's see what WFR is doing, let's see what Window Film Pros is doing, let's see what our WFA is doing. Okay, the whole sit back and let's see, I don't give a shit. I don't want that. Listen, if we want to build something greater for this industry, it starts with each of us as individuals. Now, all of us as individuals are here right now because we have a common goal, something common to work towards. But if every single one of us gets a WFR certificate, gets all the goodies, the paper's worth nothing. Shirts are worth nothing. That's all feel good stuff. Okay, we all get that. But here's what's worth something. Just like Dean said, it's a conversation starter. Okay. Now, when I hold my certificate up and I say, "Hey, I'm a member of Window Film Revolution," customer says, "Well, what's that about?" Well, the bottom line is we associate with thousands of other tenners, not across the country, but across the planet. Boyd is in Australia right now. Check him out. I mean, look at him. I mean, he is in Australia. Now, I mean, everybody's like, what are we going to do? Why don't, I don't think we should ever sit back and say, well, look at what we've already done, but look at what the hell we've already done. Seriously, we have done great things already, and it's just going to keep going. I mean, we have the rock stars of the industry here. We have the people that care about the industry. We've got it. I mean, just we've already got it. I mean, if you're going to sit back and like I'm just setting
Can I
the
chime in
stage.
with a question from the comments?
Yes, yes. Can I say one more thing?
Of course.
All right, I'll wait till you're done.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Joshua Reeves.
Because I literally. Yeah.
Joshua Reeves asked, "Who's in charge of WFR?" Rick ? So, what's the best way to answer that?
Eric's in charge, Robbie's in charge, Dean's in charge, Boyd, myself, Garrett Wilson, Marissa Ashley, David Kratz, everybody at RCL is in charge. Listen, I've been thinking about this and the whole, being the leader thing. I have no problem being the leader, but I don't want people to look at this and be like Rick Tallman makes all the decisions. No, I just want to. All I do is help guide it in the right directions. We make the right decisions together. We talk about stuff.
I can second that. We always decide as a group, and when there's a decision to be made, Rick doesn't make a decision without approaching the group, and we make it together. There's 13 of us, right, Rick? I think there's 13 of us.
I ain't gonna lie, I forgot.
Yeah, 13.
But I would say the key takeaway, Joshua, is that everybody that is involved in the group at any capacity is somewhat in charge of the group. So, like, if there's something that you don't understand or you want to see, like, it's on you to just like vocalize that or contribute to it or take initiative to get that accomplished. And like, I think that's the idea of the group is, it's hard to nail down it's hard to take. And, I'm glad we have these opportunities because it bugs me a little bit when I see posts about what's like the new, the certificates and the whole thing. And I feel like it's just a misunderstanding. It's just a lack of communication. So I think this is an opportunity to talk about that sort of thing. But I think, again, the takeaway is that, like, it's not about do you like the idea, do you not like the idea. There is no one idea. It's coming together to work in a direction. There's a direction. And we definitely know that it's a positive direction. As long as we're headed in that direction, there, you can stop with the I don't like that idea, or I don't need it. You don't need it. It's doing something to better.
Yeah, but you don't like the idea, but the people calling this out are the ones asking the questions on WFR to find out, how they can improve themselves. Hey, I'm doing a Mercedes. Am I going to screw up the keyless module? Am I going to scratch the window on this car? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? And then they turn around and say this certificate thing is crap. Well, I disagree. I mean, I totally disagree, because it isn't. It's just a sign that it's like a stamp. It's like a tattoo that we're getting better, and we're part of a group that's helping us get better. And that's so.
So I just wanted to acknowledge that we lost Boyd Hunter from this. I just wanted to acknowledge that. I think he was Rick, when you pointed out he was all the way in Australia, it seemed like he was frozen and then gone. And I know he wasn't on Wi-Fi, so I suspect that no Wi-Fi is not going to work. But
hey,
go on, and I just wanted to acknowledge we were missing one in case anybody was wondering.
Is it possible for him to come back during this?
So it absolutely is. All he needs to do is hit that call button, and he'll be back.
Okay.
He's in the group already.
Oh, sweet. Okay, well, let's see what happens. I mean, I love Boyd. I love all of y'all to death, but Boyd holds a real special place with me. We've got a history, and well, like I was telling you last week, Eric, after the show, I was really wanting Boyd on here, because Boyd, he believes in what we're doing, and he is basically the Australian arm of WFR. And I do want to. What's that?
Sorry, I just had to hit. Crikey, mate.
Let me throw in a question from Joshua real quick, a follow-up. He asked if they're all Expel dealers. I don't think by any chance it's all Expel dealers. It's all, I would say there's probably somebody from every window film brand, literally every single one, right?
Can I say something, please? Like, I know I can, but this might piss some people off, but listen, Ralph says it best, right? Who is going to pick out your flaws better than anybody else? Think about it. If you have a tent shop, who is going to tell people your flaws? That's an actual question.
Your competition, right?
Bingo, your competition. I'm just going to come out and blatantly say it. All of the BS crap that comes, and y'all can figure out who competition is. I'm sick of it.
But this wasn't competition related. He was just asking. I think I think he's not really.
No, I'm not talking about him. I'm just talking about the general innuendo. Like, because
it wasn't an innuendo. I think he was just asking.
No, not him.
But that was the question. Was his question? Was the question?
I know this is not about his question right now.
But that was the question I asked. You can't answer.
Like a lot of. This is all I'm saying.
Okay, hold on, real quick. I just want to be clear, Joshua. This is not the answer to your question. Go ahead.
I apologize.
Because you're about to piss a lot of people off, and it's not the answer to his question, but it's following his question. So I just.
Well, I don't know if it's going to piss a lot of people off or not, but all I'm saying is that like everybody's sick of hearing negative stuff, right? It's like, okay, either you can look and see that we're doing great things, or you can't. To like sit and look at it, what we're doing, and be like.
But listen, things come and go. Go ahead.
This is my opinion.
I know.
I mean, I just want to finish it, and y'all can continue. But it's like we can find problems for every solution. Okay, the people in RCL, we're solution finders. Okay, yeah, everybody has eyes and ears. We can see problems. We want to find the solutions. We can't just focus on all the problems, what could go wrong, what will go wrong. Well, what you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Okay, listen, we're not going to do anything perfect. None of us. All of us together aren't going to be perfect. But if we're striving to be positive, we'll be positive. If you're stuck on the negative, we don't need you. And if that sounds bad, I'm sorry. But if you're stuck on finding everything wrong with when people's trying to do something positive and it's blatantness in your face, and you're still trying to find things wrong with it, ask, try to find positive things out of it. But all I'm saying is a lot of the source of bad things that come from us come from our competition or people we've kicked out. So that's all I'm getting at. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I don't care. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
So I just think that it's like, I get what you're saying completely, but I feel like it's important that people should be able to ask questions, sometimes not from maybe an optimistic side. And it's worth the effort to try and answer them and help them better understand versus writing them off as, if you're not with us, you're against us, go to hell. So like if somebody comes to you and they go, I don't understand this shit, it seems worthless to me, this seems stupid, I think it's worth investing the time in talking about it and explaining it. And yes, they might be coming from a negative side, but explaining it gives you the opportunity for them to now understand it better and maybe change their perspective. And I think that's worth it because, again, I think a big part of the idea is not only bettering the industry, but part of that includes bringing the industry together. So to bring the industry together, we have to work with those who don't necessarily agree with us right away to communicate. And that's why I feel like it's worth addressing. Now, Joshua's question was if it's all Expel dealers. And the answer to his question was it's definitely not all anything dealers. It has nothing to do with your brand association or what type of film you install. So it's they just happen to be, Dean happens to be an Expel rep. Rick happens to be Sunstoppers and install Expel. And that's how you got that Expel representation.
Right. That's the reason my whole answer came up, was because of the Expel thing. I'm so sick of hearing people insinuate that different people have different advantages. I'm going to tell you who has advantages. Whoever's in RCL group, they got advantages. It doesn't matter who they are. Some people are from Expel. Expel's doing great things. It's only natural to have great people around us. Eric, you're not with Expel. Robbie's not with Expel. Boyd's not with Expel. Me and Dean are, and we're proud of being with Expel, because they're doing great things. That's not the only company in the industry doing great things, okay? But that's the company we choose. And we're not, listen, we're not trying to just push Expel or nothing like that. Expel is just a big elephant in the room. And I'm happy to have them in the room.
Yeah, and everybody on WFR knows me, and I'm sure you can find a lot of people that don't use Expel or use other products. They reach out to me. I help anybody who's anybody. I don't care what you use. And I think, Eric, last time we had this going on, I was, said it. I don't care what you use. I'm all about bettering the industry. So I have no preference. What you can use, whatever you want to use, as long as you need help and you're looking for help and you're somebody who's asking for help and asking better in this industry, it says a lot. So why not go out there and with the experience that we have, I've been tinting windows for 26 years, it'll be almost 27. If I can share the knowledge, I don't care what you use. Tinner, you're a tinner. Whatever film you use, you're still a tinner. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to help you no matter what. So, and I've always been about that. And I'm sure you can find a lot of people within 9,000 people in this group that I've helped that don't use it. And I made myself available in the past couple of years, not to get them on board with a manufacturer or whatever, or distributor, or whatever you want to call it, just to help the industry. That's what I'm about. So.
I remember when me and Dean met, man. It was awesome.
So, Robbie, we haven't heard your voice.
No, you haven't. I didn't think I was going to get in much.
What you got for us? What I don't know. What is
What do you like?
what do you enjoy it as far as being a part of this? Like what has drawn you to it, to be a part of the Window Film Revolution and Core Leader Group?
Well, Rick asked me to be a part of the Core Leaders about a year and a half ago. I actually went and found one of my first posts in Window Film Revolution, and it was like the second day it was active. And it made me start thinking and start going and whatnot, and how much I've just learned from it, but how much I can contribute. All the questions, who needs help, and I'm just about help and helping people all over the country, all over the world fascinates me. My grandma used to be a ham radio operator and won tons and tons of awards of talking around the world and helping people and stuff just with ham radio. I learned, almost got my certificate and always wish I did. But now Window Film Revolution to me is just like that, talking to everybody around the world. But I get to see people also. just helping people. Blows me away. I'm sitting here with all y'all.
Robbie, you are an integral part of what's happening. Are you a window tinter first?
Yes, sir. Of course.
Okay. And listen, I think it's pretty evident why you're on the RCL group, because I think anybody that knows you and has seen you over several years, you're always positive, and you're always giving people, a positive motivation, reinforcement, and listen, that's what we're looking for. I mean, you're the ideal person we want in our group.
I appreciate that, man. It just blew me away when you reached out to me that day and had a chance to talk to you, because, I mean, it just, how can you not want to help people asking for help? And, man, I've needed it growing on, and I've gotten so much from it, and like you say all the time, the relationships all over, just meeting everybody and making a big family everywhere. I mean, who cannot love that, Dean, man, it was amazing meeting you and slinging next to you. And Eric, man, watching the show, ever since kind of popped on and watching it, it's kind of different talking instead of trying to listen and type at the same time. But Boyd, man, I love you, my friend. We've had a lot of good talks. Man, love meeting you. Thank you for what you did for my father when he was alive. Just all of y'all, man, just amazing. Just amazing.
So Boyd from Australia is back. Why don't we take advantage of you being back and hear from you as well?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
You can? Okay. I missed one of the questions which you guys were addressing. But if I think there was something about, is it XPEL themed, or there is a heavy presence of XPEL? I guess back in 2016, I had done some training videos and we set up the Tint School community. And that's something that I was looking to, I guess, raise the bar and make things a bit more uniform, where people might want to reach certain standards and get certificates and qualifications. Like the rappers, you look at those guys and they all hold their certs, and they don't care if you're an Avery guy or you're putting up 3M or whatever. They actually come together and empower people quite well. I learned a lot from that, and I was on that mission to try and do something like that. And I remember talking to Rick in probably 2016, 2017, and talking to him, and we realized we're kind of trying to do the same thing. That's when I decided to transfer all the community across to Window Film Revolution, shut the group down, join Rick, and move forward. So if we want to look back to then, I believe Dean Mitchell wasn't an XPEL guy. He would have been a store owner. Rick wasn't hanging XPEL. So this, what you guys are seeing now was birthed a while ago. It's just in the background, lots of discussions and talking things over and acquiring new people with new talents and stuff like that. So it's kind of amazing where it is now, but also where it's going. But just put the industry first is something that I'm passionate about. We all either work for a brand or have stores, but it's about the installers. The shirt may change in the future for different people, but we're all trying to go forward together and support each other and not take shots at each other, because about 5 years ago, it was probably the wild, wild west, and it's not good for the industry. We want to raise the standard to be better and help people. Like Robbie said, Robbie and I have had chats. We haven't met each other. Spoke to Dean, hung out with Rick, met Rick. I've got what you're seeing now with the forum and the structure of Window Film Revolution, the website. I've got that mapped out on the back of I think it was the Golden Nugget, the hotel notepad from last year, right? So it's stuff that we discussed, and it's all sort of playing out now. And if I reflect on the conversation last week, we don't have all the answers. We never claim to have. We claim that, we are for the industry and we are trying to improve. And over the time, we're going to bring in people that are an asset. We might not know them right now, but in 6 months, they might join us and be able to support everyone and give us ideas that we don't currently have. So we're an open book, trying to learn and always trying to push forward.
I remember the Golden Nugget. I remember that paper that we were writing on. Like, I was in my underwear, I think, right? Like, I think Boyd came through I think me and Ralph were in the room. I'm in my underwear. Boyd comes in, and like we're over here planning stuff. Like, it was a blast. And for me personally, it's a beautiful thing. Like, when I think about Boyd, I think about plans, because we made a lot of plans. And now he's talking about the Golden Nugget and this, but we were discussing all of this, even like that was okay. This is what we're going to do type deal. But we had been discussing that for like 3 years. And ultimately, there's so many different things that we can do, but you just have to pick something and go, and let everything else come, because everybody's got awesome ideas. Everybody. So this can literally be anything we want to be. It can be everything we want it to be. We all have to believe in it. We all have to, get around it. And like I said, it all comes down to grassroots. That's it. It all comes to grassroots.
So Alex asked a question that's, I'll just throw out there to whoever wants to answer it. He said, how do you feel about the mass surplus of people coming into the industry in the past year or two? Do you think there is a mass surplus coming into the industry? And I guess if so, how do you feel about it?
You kind of broke up. I heard a mass.
Oh, so Alex asked, how do you feel about a mass surplus of people coming into the industry in the past year or two? Dean, being an Expel rep, I'd imagine you're very in tune with what businesses exist and don't exist and what's new out there, and maybe, I don't know, within a certain area, yeah?
Well, mass surplus, I think there's a lack of qualified installers. As a rep now, I get so many leads asking for window film training. Unfortunately, we're not a school. I always refer these guys to, Google a tint school in your area. We're not a school. We offer training to our dealers, but there's such a high demand for installers. And I think there's a big lack, so a big surplus of installers. I haven't seen it. I mean, I wish there were, because a lot of shops would be happy. I can name you 1,000 shops in North America that are looking for qualified installers. So I wish there were more schools. I wish there were government programs where we can train. Not government. Maybe I'm using the wrong terminology, but some what do you call it? Trade school is what I meant to say. For PPF installers, for tint installers. And I think that we'd have better qualified installers, and businesses would thrive, because the biggest thing lacking in our industry to make shops grow is skillful employees. So I don't think there's a surplus right now.
Yeah, I don't think so neither.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question I would put back to Alex is, how do you feel you've come across that surplus? Like, where have you seen that growth, or like that, abundance of, I guess, tint shops or whatever it is? And that, I think maybe we can go from there, So
yeah, because if he knows where the gold mine is, I'm sure a lot of people would want to know.
Right. So I don't know what just reading through the comments. What else is there? What else do you want to get out there about the group? What do you think we can do at the community to get the sales up and get the win stronger and push everything in the right direction? What would you say? Like, I understand the concept of we have to all be united as a group. We have to, coming together and communicate and so on. That brings different people's ideas and perspectives, and things can get done. But at the end of the day, to the people here, what do you think maybe top 2 or 3 things that really the industry's could benefit from that could be a result of a group like this?
If I may jump in, I think kind of going back to what Dean said about qualified installers, I think there's a lot of people that really want to be really well and are trying real hard to find people that'll help them be as good as they can be or want to be. Man, I hope to be a teacher at a school someday. That'd be kind of cool, because especially for somebody who wants to learn it and absorb it, it'd be really neat to send them off to a place where they could start a career and go from there. And it can be done anywhere. So once you get kind of good at it and people are looking, you can travel and go wherever you like to go. I don't think there's, it's pretty cool. But I think it just goes back. I think a group like this helps people achieve that, not just watching a video, being able to talk to the people that do have the video. That's mind blowing. You can actually ask them a question instead of just watching them on YouTube, and get in their head and talk to them and get help from them. I think that's amazing.
So,
hey, I got something I can talk about. Like the end goal, like I was telling you about the competition and the certification. I talked about this months and months ago, very briefly, just to kind of let a little breadcrumb out. But we want to have a competition. And as far as how the competition, the format would be the first round, you have 25 minutes to do one door. Now, remember, the competition format would also be the same format as a certification. So you got 25 minutes to tint one door. Like that's more enough time, no matter what how fast or slow you are, because a lot of people are like, well, if you got high enough skills, you can do it in 15 minutes. Now that's only one skill, that's speed. And I get it. There's nothing wrong with that, but everybody's not fast. Listen, I've done this for 20 years. There was a time in my career where I wanted to get cars done as fast as possible and boom, boom, boom. And then there's a point in my career where I just want to, make more money and do less. So everybody has different, we're all different at our shops. If we're doing a competition, we don't care how you get there. You can ride a unicycle upside down with a torch hanging out of your butt. It don't matter. It's the end result of what you put on the window. If you bottom load, top load, snatch a panel, nobody really cares. Just how does it look when you're done? And so that's what we can do. But going back to the competition and the accreditation format, you get 25 minutes to tint a window. So if you're at the competition, if you're in the top 40%, you'll make it to the next round. If you're at Dean's place getting certified, you've got to meet a certain score before you go to the second round. Okay, so like if it's top 40% in the competition, well, let's figure out what the top 40% scored. You've got to achieve that to get to the next round. Same as the competition, same as the accreditation. And then second round, first round, you do one door, 25 minutes. Second round, you do two doors, you have 35 minutes. So now a little bit of time's being taken off. It's still enough time to do two doors. And then the third round is 45 minutes, back glass.
So we're talking about
competition.
You feel like a competition / certification would be very valuable to the industry, because you're getting kind of like very into like the very specifics of like the ins and outs of the competition. I don't know. I don't mean like, I guess the whole thing is the idea of achieving a competition, achieving a certification, right?
Right. So, like I said, first round's one window, 25 minutes. Second round, two windows, 35 minutes. Third round is the back window, a quarter window, and a rear door, 45 minutes. Listen, if you go to any of our, like whoever's doing the accreditation, if you make it to the third round, you're already up there pretty good. But like if you go to Dean's shop or you go to Boyd's shop, Robbie's, whoever's, and you score really good on your certification, you're going to naturally feel better about going to the competition. Now, you ask what WFR can do. We can bring people together. If you're confident, a lot of people don't go to these competitions because flat out they're not confident. I mean, and they don't want to spend all the money to go there and be disappointed. So this is a way that they can have a taste of the competition before they ever go. And also know, hey, how can I hang with these guys? Listen, there's a lot of people that say, oh, Rick, man, you're so good. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. They say the same thing about Boyd, Dean, Robbie. You know what I'm saying? But instead of thinking like that, most of the people that say that can do just as good as us. Like, seriously, you can put out a window just as good.
Humble brag right there.
Just as good as the next person. If you can do it once, then you can get to a habit of doing it all the time. And anybody tinting windows, somebody has had one like perfect window, right? If you can do one, you can the goal is to get rest perfect, make everybody better by leading by example. All of us lead by example. Dean doesn't have to run around saying, hey, I'm an awesome guy, I'm a rock star. No, you already know it because of how he acts. Robbie doesn't have to go around saying, I'm a great guy, I treat people nice. No, he doesn't have to say that because we can see it. Boyd, you don't have to go around saying he doesn't have to say anything about himself. We're going to say it for him because we have eyes and ears. All of us has had time together. We're not strangers. We've been watching each other, and that's how stuff grows. So it's like, we've been around for years doing this, and all we've done is improve and improved at a really good click. Like, people like to get into numbers, right? So if you want to get into some numbers, we have 111 members right now, and we haven't even, the website ain't even been officially open for several weeks now. That's something for all of us to be proud of. And that tells me, and it should tell everybody else watching, that people believe in what we're doing. And it's not, and when we say we, that's like saying, I believe in what I'm doing. Because when we say we, it's all of us. Just like they were saying earlier, we talk about everything. And if you pay to be a member of WFR, hey, you can call it whatever you want to, but I'm going to personally listen to you more than somebody that ain't doing nothing. I mean, your voice is going to be more important to me. And I'm not saying everybody's voice is not important, but some of them's not. Like, but if you want to talk about, different benefits that you get from paying something, I'm going to listen just like a customer. I'm going to listen to them a little bit closer when they're paying money, right? We all are. But if you've got skin in the game, you're going to get paid attention to. So the point I'm getting at is your voice. You can have all the ideas in the world. You can present your ideas. We can't guarantee we're going to put your ideas into action. But what we can guarantee is you will be heard. We will look at it. We will think about it. And if we all agree it works, we're going to put it into action. It doesn't matter who came up with the idea. If you come up with a great idea, we're going, hey, that dude came up with a great idea.
But if we have to go back to the core question, I think Eric was asking, what do we need to do as a whole to grow not to grow the industry, but to get more tinners involved, how to train tinners, where can we direct them to get trained, to start their business. I mean, the competition and everything and the certification is good, but a lot of guys need to get trained, physically one-on-one. We need to come up with a plan and a way to get these people trained and get more manpower available in the industry, because that's right now that's the big lack for everybody. Like I mentioned before, to grow is the lack of manpower. So we have to, that's something that WFR can eventually, probably has in the pipeline already, is a way to get some people, mobile guys, just to go train. Or create their own training facility, stuff like that happen in order to grow the industry as well, right?
Yeah. Well, and to get to that point, to actually what steps, okay, if somebody's saying what steps do we need to take to get there? The first thing we need to do is build the network until we have so many people that it's damn near impossible to fail. We already have the network, because it's like, seriously, we already have the network. We just have to get together. Once we have enough of us on the same page,
countries have training, there's no certain number. Countries have failed, like countries have failed. So there's no certain number that makes it impossible to fail. I think it's important, like regardless of knowing that, hey, there's more power and strength in numbers, still having a clear-cut idea of short-term goals, long-term goals, even so they're going to change, but some fundamentals there have to be in place. The whole goal can't just be numbers, because numbers will solve everything. The numbers aren't going to solve everything, because there's no scenario you can show me where because of the numbers it didn't fail. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just anything can fail. You can have a ton of people.
Well, let me clarify that.
Ton of
I'm gonna say that numbers by themselves are not guaranteed to make something not fail. But when you put this many like-minded people together and a lot of numbers with that, it's not going to fail.
Okay.
So no, it's
I guess I'm not even saying like who's bringing up fail. I'm saying I think it would be good for everybody to understand, like as an industry, to get a better idea of some of the near-term, long-term visions, ideas. Hey, we want to try to accomplish a way for people to improve their skills. We want to try and accomplish a certification that's in person. Whatever those things are. We want to accomplish a training facility that somebody can go through and come out with. Like, whatever that is, I think it's important to start nailing some of those down. The talk can't just be about everybody. Hold on, but I know you didn't like when I interrupted you a second ago. So it's an interesting two-way street, but go ahead.
No, but the networking around this is important, because it's not just, it's also training people, advanced training people. So these competitions and the networking that goes on in these competitions can be used as tinners gathering to advance train each other, to feed off each other. And but yeah, I'll let you speak, Rick.
Well, Eric, I love you, but like, it's like you ask me questions. I'm like, I done answered it. Okay, here's the answer to your questions. What do we want to do? A competition. Okay, that's where we're headed. We also want to do a certification. All right. We want to network. We're already doing these things. Like, we're already doing it. That is the answer. We're already in the place of doing it. Like that, there is no missing thing that we're missing. We have all the parts right now.
I'm not suggesting that it was missing. I was just asking for it to be communicated so everybody could hear it.
Right.
I'm not
okay. So I thought we were communicating that.
I feel that look, I'm looking at the comments here. I've been looking at the comments since last week's video, and I feel like a lot of people do not fully understand the vision. So I'm just asking those questions so that it can be summarized, it can be expanded on wherever needed, and people can get a better understanding of the plan without it just circling around to, if you ask negative questions, you're not with us, you're against us. And we're going to succeed, we're not going to fail. Because that keeps coming into like the conversation, and it's not really about if you're going to fail or not. Nobody knows. You don't know, nobody knows. But we're not here to predict if something's going to fail or succeed. We're here to support something to help it succeed. We're not like, if you're taking a side, if somebody's out there taking a side and going, I think this isn't going to work, you're fundamentally in the wrong mental space, because it should be about how can we make this work and what can make it work better. But again, let's get all the questioning if it's going to work or not work out, because I don't think that's a valid, real question. And I'm just trying to help everybody understand why they would want to get behind this program and support it. And I think they'll get behind and support it when they understand the intentions behind it and the general direction it's going. That's my goal here. That's the only reason I'm asking these questions. And I can go through some of the comments too. If you don't mind, I'll ask the questions that have been asked here in the last few minutes. Okay. So John Little said, to me, it's just a competition. At this point in my career, I feel no need for any certification. My customers could care less. That's just my opinion. But for the competition, my competitive juices flow, and fellowship is what I enjoy. I think that's very fair, right? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think different people get different things out of all of this. Some people are in it, because we want to see a competition. Some are in it because we want to see a certification. Some are in it because, man, it's just freaking cool to hang out with everybody, right? I mean, all of us have met in person, but except for me and Robbie. Me and Robbie still haven't met, damn it. But we're already doing what we're talking about. That's just, I'll be honest, I get stressed out. I'm glad I've been kicked out of most of the groups. It's kind of like there's always this unspoken stuff Because like when I see people talking smack, it just irritates the hell out of me. I mean, we've spent years working on this for somebody to sit on their ass and question it, not in a good way. I mean, question it with negative intentions. And we all see that stuff. And each of us, I guarantee you, when any of us see something negative, especially when people don't understand, they're not trying to understand. We've been here for 5 years doing this. It's been out in the open the whole time. Like, it's just, there's always going to be somebody that doesn't like you. And I get that. That's the only reason I get upset and emotional and want to slap people.
I think that the misconception is the certification part. It's like, what kind of certification? What do you get from that certification? What does it prove? What does it do? I think that's where people get hung up, is where, you know, you can go there and see. There's a difference between the certification and the certificate. To me, the certificate means I'm part of a group that's helping me grow. To get certified by your peers, what does that mean? I think that's what people are getting hung up on. What does it mean to get certified by your peers? What will it bring you? You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, I'm speaking for others, and I'm realizing that the certification part of it needs to be explained in detail, and you know, what's it good for, basically. Besides the fact that, again, the certificate to me means a ton. And I've said it, I'll say it again, but what does it mean to get certified?
Right. That certificate in your hands. And Dave Dillinger just said, I think we should quit using the word certificate. I think the certificate, it tugged at some personal, like emotional chords. And what it means is having it means you're a part of something. It doesn't take away, and not having it doesn't take away your ability to tint. Nobody's suggesting that not having this means you're less of a tinter or anything like that. This is just to signify that you're part of a group. That's it, right?
Yeah. It says it right on the certificate, member certificate. It doesn't say skill certificate. It says member. The skill certificate's coming. And the way that we get the skill certificate, how do you judge who's got skill? You go to any of our shops and you get tested to see how good you are. That's it. That's the answer.
Kind of like I posted.
That's not here yet. We're not passing those out yet, by the way.
Yeah,
you know, they don't just get passed out. You'll have to go, you know, take a test. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dean.
No, I was going to say, just kind of like a car mechanic gets certified for different new technologies. You go to the dealership at the service department, you'll see these certificates posted on the wall, like he's been certified to work on electric vehicles, on certain types of engines and whatnot. Well, the kind of certification you're talking about is he's been, judged by his peers on his quality of work, and he was, you know, he's got a certain level of install. But that, you know, if you get a 2 out of 10, would you want to put that in your shop? That's, you know what I'm saying? If you get a 10, yeah, well, I'm going to post it up, but you know, it's got some things we need to work on. Obviously, this is all new, right? I mean,
yeah.
Right. That's the key too, is it's all new.
If you go to a competition and you don't win, you weren't the best that day, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you're not a good tinner, right? It's how you.
No, it doesn't. But it's the same thing. Like, I mean, if you know, a skill certification by our peers. That's the key word, by us. It's like, well, who? Somebody said, well, who gave, you know, you the authority to do this, that, or the other? We did. Us. We give ourselves the authority. Like, we have the ability to self-regulate this industry. You know, hang gliding. Did you know hang gliding is self-regulated? You're in the air flying off a mountain. That is self-regulated industry. That industry decides who's good and who isn't good. There is no outside third-party marketing person telling us this is how we should do something. There's no outside governmental agency telling us something. Us, we can do whatever the hell we say we're going to do, and that's what we're going to do, right? And that sounds bad, but that's all it takes is us working together. We're already doing it. Like just like Dean said, peers. You're tested by your peers. Well, and then somebody's going to say, well, who thinks that guy's good enough to test me if they get a bad score? Listen, don't go get tested. If you don't believe in it, don't do it, right? But that's down the road. I mean, I think we should just right now, focus on building a network. I mean,
Lucas Tucker asked, how will the certification be different than the certification available from the IWFA?
you will have to actually physically go perform instead of take a written test or whatever it is. You will have to physically go to somebody's shop and show them what your skill capability is. You're not going to be able to get this just because you pay money. And listen, if you're going to have to pay for it, you go to Dean's shop. He's going to get paid a little bit for doing it. You got to pay some. But the bottom line is somebody is able to verify that, yes, I watched this guy tint a window or this woman tint a window. I watched this person tint windows, and I can tell you right now, either they suck or they're great or they're somewhere in between. And here's the score that they got. If you want to improve your score, get better and come back in 6 months, right? If you're already good, well, shit, we'll put you on a freaking list to say you can judge people too, right?
So we got a couple comments mentioning that they really want to hear from Boyd and they want to move on to another subject. So we'll do a cold break right there. And we'll turn it right over to Boyd.
Okay, just in relation to, I can't see any comments, but I'm seeing people tagging me. What John had said, this product that we're trying to build, it's not for everyone, and it doesn't mean they're supporting or not supporting us. Like John has a great operation over there in Texas. I met him once in 2016 at the tin off, and he's a really solid guy. Would the certifications help him personally in his business? Definitely not. I mean, he's been there forever. He has a great reputation. But something they do a lot of is, I know they do a lot of preloading. So if we wanted to put together some sort of module or some sort of training on how to increase your preload or how to handle preload accounts, he's probably one of the top 5 guys that we'd think of and say, hey, John, can we chat to you about this? Because I know you've got a crap ton of experience. How do we go about this? How should we guide people? So I see people on his level coming across as a mentor, a contributor of information. There's a lot of guys like that we can pull information from if they want to come and collaborate. It's only going to help the industry. So, again, my partner over here, he runs a bunch of shops, and would this make him more money? It definitely wouldn't, but they have experience with branding, with staff, with policies, with procedures, all these sort of things that it's important when someone wants to go from, hey, I'm just a mobile tinner or I'm a tinner in a shop. I wanted to get to that next level where I employ someone or I use a contractor. Having people in the industry with that experience is great. And again, we don't need the buy-in from that. The certification, there's no timeline of when it's starting. It might not start for 6 months. We don't know what the criteria is, but bringing these guys in as I guess mentors, it's vital. It's not Rick's idea. It's not my idea. It's everyone can together, and the more people we have, I guess, like on a panel, it's only going to give us a better product in the end. So what we're doing, it's not for everyone. That's okay. Some people will get more out of it. Some will get less out of it. But if we put the industry first and bring people together and maybe break a few walls down, I think it's only positive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Are you in Victoria, Boyd?
No, mate.
Where?
No, New South Wales. We're about 10
Okay.
hours north driving.
I got to do some research, man. How far is I don't know. We'll talk after this, but
Yeah.
I want to go to Australia and hang glide, man.
So, I mean,
Eric,
go ahead. I was going to say, is there anything else that you wanted to get out there regarding the group,
yeah.
today with this group that we have?
Yeah, I do. I've got one simple question, and it's going to be for you, Eric. And you only got to give me one answer. Like, it ain't got to be complicated. What is one single thing? Just one. What is one single thing that we can do, in your opinion, that that's good. Like it can be something small, it can be something big, because what we're doing is a culmination of thousands of small things. But name one small thing that we could do to improve.
I think better communicating with the people that you perceive as negative and as people that aren't asking questions from a good place. Taking the time to communicate with those people, not to in a way to try and we're not not in a way, you're not taking it don't take it in a way like you're trying to prove that you're going to be successful and they're trying to say you're not. Take it in a way that somebody who feels that way, so opposing, either has a really good reason that you'd want to learn from, or they have a big misunderstanding and need to learn from you. So either way, there's an opportunity there. Because if I want to do something and somebody's like, I think X, Y, Z, and you hear it as a negative thing, well, what he's either telling me is he doesn't understand what I'm doing, or he knows something maybe I don't, or he's seeing an angle that I'm not. Because if we were on the same mental wave, and I just feel like that would be a better, I think that's just one thing that could be handled better. I think when people join the group initially, there's a couple group questions that they have to answer. I think once they join, if there's a communication that they can read, or that, to where they better understand the reason for the group, the purpose for the group, the boundaries of the group, what's the expectation of how to be a good member of the group. Because when you understand what the group's about, like if hypothetically, and this isn't scalable, but if you want to do it, please take the idea. If every single member had to have a 30-minute chat with Dean and talk to him before they could start using the group about, the group, and he would say hey, we're a group of like-minded individuals into window tinting. I'm here to help you. So is everybody in the group, blah, blah, blah. Love your brother or sister or whatever it is. I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. You probably wouldn't get that person coming in the group talking shit ever. Now, that's not probably scalable, but I do think there is a lot of improvement to be had from where we're at today, where people join, and if they fuck up, they get kicked out. If they don't answer the questions, they're not getting in. And it's just kind of like, if I was to say hey, this certification's silly, I'm a good tinner, I might get muted. I want to be explained it. I'm not saying I would I don't know the exact, but I'm saying I feel like that communication is going to win at the end, because your intentions are good, the team is good, everything's good. So everybody has to constantly see that, because when people don't have good intentions and when they're kind of shitty at something, they tend to block like that. And I'm not saying that that's the case. What I'm saying is it's confusing to somebody who is maybe suspicious or confused if they don't get that explanation. That's all.
Oh, and something from earlier, I just did want to clarify something. The reason that there's more people than just me, because I definitely have my flaws. That's the reason RCL got started. Because I apologize, but I am quick to snap on people. That's why the RCL is here, to keep my ass in check too, right? It's I can be a dipshit sometimes.
Here's the thing. When you talk about a group, okay, talk about Facebook group. If somebody comes in there right now and they're like, hey, what's the best tint to use? Okay, there's going to be a large portion of the community that's I'm so fucking sick and tired of this question. And then you might get somebody that's use Ziploc or foil paper or something. And then you're mute that person, because they shouldn't be saying that. They're giving them a hard time. And there becomes this thing, and then it's going to happen every other day for the rest of eternity. So what I'm saying is we as a group, you can't fall into the situation where every group falls into, where kind of the leader, not the leaders per se, but the veterans kind of overpower the noobs, and it becomes kind of a gauntlet to get through. And rather, we should use the resources to put together structured answers to these questions, so that nobody has to necessarily hear them all the time. They're structured, they're there, they're a resource that anybody can access at any time. And they're out of everybody's head, and they're into a maybe better format than just searching on Facebook.
Hey, why don't we, for the RCL group, why don't we make a post on RCL, and okay, you've got several good ideas, put them in the post. Any of the ideas that we have among the leader group, we'll put them on one post, and we'll just do a checklist of stuff that we've achieved, right, or stuff that we would like to achieve. Just take it one thing at a time. Like, let's say the list has 30 different things we want to do on it. Well, we can tackle it one at a time. So like, I would say, listen, as far as like talking with Dean 30 minutes, hey, you volunteered Dean for that. He told me it was your idea that you should spend 30 minutes with everybody that comes in, because it's a great idea. It was your idea. Don't volunteer
30 minutes. I'm going to start speaking French after 20 minutes.
So, Cody Becker asked, what's WFR's mission statement? What would you say that is?
I don't even know at this point. I've been asked that so many times. I've answered it umpteen different ways, and it's never right. So y'all can answer that.
Well, it's not a matter of right or wrong. It's your mission statement.
I've already answered it a gazillion times.
Okay. Dean, anybody else have a mission statement?
Well, Boyd, you can jump in, but I mean, it's pretty obvious when you log into Window Film Revolution. There's a lot of questions about how to do certain stuff, and you get an answer right away. So I think it's a group that's there to help each other out. I think that's and we're achieving that every single day. I think that was Rick's goal in the beginning, is to reunite these guys and these members to help each other out. And every time you have a question, you post it on there. When I bring on customers on board with Expel and they're new to Tint, I say, if you have any questions and I'm not available, just post that question on Window Film Revolution. You'll get an answer right away. So I think that was the goal, and I think it's just going from there, and it's just getting better and better.
That in itself is just amazing to me too. How quick you can get a good response. People just wanting to help everybody. Hey, I got a quick minute. I see a film on shrinking or this, that, and the other, and you can get an answer pretty quick. And that's cool to me.
And you're the one answering those people a lot of times too, Robbie.
I love it. I love helping people. I love it when I can, man. Just make somebody's day better, make them smile or whatever. That's what I want to do.
That's all I want to do. My mouth gets in the way sometimes.
Fine too.
Oh.
One thing I do, so I want to change the subject a little bit, but I hate talking about COVID, but I get asked a lot, should I be careful? Are we going to hit a major low in a few months? What should I do? Should I invest? Should I place a huge order? And what do you guys think? I mean, I tell most of my customers, just be smart with your money. Just don't overdo it. I mean, there's plenty of stock. Just be smart and just save your money. Don't overspend because God knows what's going to happen in a few months. So, I want to hear your thoughts. I mean, Eric, what do you think? I mean, do you think we're going to at some point hit some major low that
I think we don't know. And I think if you're in the window film industry, you can very safely purchase window film ahead of time and store it. As long as you're not going to, that window film, you're not going to need to pay your mortgage. If you're not going to be hungry and be like, man, I need to eat window film. As long as that's not your case, you're if you have, hypothetically, you have $60,000 in your bank account. To take $20,000 or $30,000 and put it in window film on a shelf and say, I'm going to keep that inventory and kind of try to stay stocked up as opposed to keeping that cash in the bank, to me makes sense, because you're going to be tinting windows no matter what, and you're eliminating the chance of interruption because nobody really knows. So it just comes down to like, how steady do you want to be and how much cash do you have handy, but don't go take a loan against your credit card to just stock up on window film. I don't think it would be that worth it.
Yeah. I just tell people to be smart and just, pray that everything goes smooth. Yeah.
So
I've been at both.
Go ahead.
Oh, please. I was just going to say, I've been at both ends of the spectrum. I've been to where I was living, running my business. Now, this is when I first started, like literally tent box to tent box. And like, I was one of those guys that if I was on social media when I first started, I was one of those guys that would jump up and say, oh, this film company just cost me a bunch of money because they didn't send me film fast enough when I ordered it yesterday and it's not here and I got a job on Sunday or whatever. You didn't plan ahead. That's what happened. It's like, bottom line, when that happened to me, it was my dumb ass that didn't plan ahead. And so with all this COVID stuff and all these different restrictions, maybe one of the good things, well, not a maybe to it, somebody out there is saying, shit, I got to get off my ass and actually plan, because I just lost a week's worth of stuff because I didn't order enough film. I mean, if you're in the window film business and you want to make money tinting windows,
Right.
It's pretty obvious you need to have tint. That is right. Like, if you're short on tint, or you're not tinting, man, you're just getting by. You got to have enough. I mean, you can't stock up so much that, you know, it's going to last forever. But, you know, like, it just, I don't know. Like, anytime somebody's like, oh, this film company, you know, cost me money because they didn't get me film fast enough. It's like, why are you, first off, are you that desperate for money that you planned it that fast and you couldn't say, hey, I've got to order film? Or did you make a promise before you made a promise that you didn't know you could keep? It's like, you know, I think people are going to get better at that. Go ahead.
David Kratz says he thinks the slowdown will be very regional. I'm curious, what slowdown? Like, slowdown as far as availability, or slowdown from retail customers? But
probably sales, right? Because when people stop getting paid to stay home and don't know what to do with their money, at some point they're gonna stop spending, right?
Right.
So
definitely could be that. Definitely could be that. And you know, at the same time, like, if you have the money, you stock up on film. If things slow down, you're just going to be not reordering for a while, and maybe you start to deplete your inventory. But I feel like you're still in a good shape. So, like, I would say, I think people should lean on the side of having extra inventory, because if things get slowed down for one type of film for 2 weeks, if that throws your business off, why would you rather have the cash in the bank? What's it there for? And if it's not eating or shelter, I think it should be window film. It's basically window film, shelter, and eating. Quick question. Do you think it would be possible, Rick, to unban everyone who's been banned from the Window Film Revolution group and put like an open, like, the whole industry, everybody's welcome in the group, you know what we're about, let's all be friends, and start kicking people out as they deserve it again?
All right. Well, let me put this into a little bit of perspective. What you're asking me to do is over several years, we've gotten rid of people that not only didn't think like us, but were negative and wanted to bring stuff down. Most of the people that have been kicked, not all of them, there's exceptions, but most of the people that's been kicked out were assholes. And so I'm not thrilled with the thought of unblocking all these assholes and let them come back to the group.
Yeah,
that's
like, Rick, have you ever been an asshole in your life?
Huh?
Have you ever been an asshole in your life?
No, I'm probably an asshole today.
But to my point is, like, everybody at some point in their life has been an asshole, and if right. to say like, okay, we only kicked out assholes, so we'd be letting assholes back in, that means that everybody should refer to everybody as an asshole all the time, because at one point in their life they were an asshole. I don't think that's fair.
Well, it's, you know what, it's not if it was that cut and dry. But most of the people we've kicked out, they've showed a history or a pattern of being assholes. And, like, not in a good way. Like, you could be a nice asshole, right? And we're cool.
So what's the answer to the question?
Huh?
What's the answer to the question?
Would I be open to letting people?
Now, would you be open?
Yes.
At the end of today's live stream, would you be willing to just go ahead and delete everybody? Everybody can go in.
I would say yes. I mean,
I vote yes.
I vote
sure,
yes.
Do it.
Hold on. What are we voting on?
Unbanning everybody that's ever been banned from the revolution.
Yeah, give them another chance. And we're, you know, we keep moderating. I mean, but the people that have been banned, Eric, they've been warned once, twice, 3 times, maybe sometimes even 4 times. And then at some point we're just like, you know, this person does not get it. So
I get it. I'm not questioning, like, I'm not saying like these aren't marijuana sellers that now, like, you're like they shouldn't have gone to jail in the first place. This is just overall.
Marijuana is legal in Canada, so there's nothing wrong with marijuana sellers, right?
Right. No, same here. What I'm saying is, like, it's not like looking back and trying to overturn a judgment. It's rather just saying, why don't we?
I'm just going to give y'all a little bit more perspective. Have you looked at the block list on our group?
All right, so the answer is yes or no. What do you think?
The answer is we're going to keep talking, because I don't know.
Let's do it.
It ain't just let's do it. Wow. Watch the positive.
Rick.
Nobody's convinced me that something positive is going to come from this.
Well, do you think some people have not liked you in the past, and upon further inspection, getting to know you, you've been able to mend a relationship and have a respect for somebody, and like maybe be friends, or you know what I mean? Like, has somebody ever like wronged you or disrespected you, but then turned out to be the relationship worked out in the future? Has that ever happened?
It has happened.
So I
But you
think
know how
that's what
many
we're doing here
times,
is we're
if you
opening
look
up
at the
that.
numbers, if we let these, listen, hey, y'all can let everybody back in. I don't care. Y'all got the same powers I do to hit the buttons and say unblock or not block. You know, so, I mean, you don't have to ask me. If all of y'all decide to do it, then just do it. But I'm just saying I don't necessarily think it's a great idea. I'm not saying we're not going to do it. I'm just saying I don't know. Because, like, do you really want all these Chinese freaking window tint companies in here? You know, hey, we're making film. You want to buy our shit? It's like, there's a lot of people got kicked out for good reason. Not just because we didn't like them and not because they didn't get along with me. It's because, hell, half of these people I never talked to. They were just cussing somebody else there. I don't know.
So, I mean, I think it would be fair not to, like, in my thoughts, I do agree, like, the window film suppliers that are out of the country that, like, just simply, like, spam, there's no point of letting that in, per se. But, like, I'm talking about human beings that
installers
came to talk, you know, at any level. But I definitely agree with you on the advertising.
You know, I really don't care, but if you open up, I'm gonna say, yeah, do it. But I'm not deleting all these people or blocking them again. And I'm sorry, man. Like, some people just need to stay the hell out. But hey, y'all let them all back in if you want to. But I'm not doing the work again to kick their asses back out.
I don't feel comfortable with that answer overall, so I'm not going to do anything.
Well, I don't
with
feel
your answer.
comfortable with this idea.
Hey, you know what? We're 13 RCL members. Let them all back in. Let's get some, you know, maybe 2-3 more people in there to help moderate, and we'll see. We'll keep a close eye, and you know, and see what happens. I mean, I
think, like, look, I think at the same time, like, if we're to unblock everybody, I think at the same time there should be a post that goes up and, like, welcome all unblocked, previously blocked members. Like, hey, we understand, like, we might have had our differences in the past, but we do want to be part of the same community, and you are part of the same community, and we're different fingers on the same hand, and welcome back, and, you know, hopefully a better outcome this time together.
Yeah, you just gotta keep in mind when you come back in that this is a group to help. There are other groups out there to vent. You know, I love. There's another group, Winnow Tinner's Feud, out there that I love because it's just fun to watch and it's funny and it's cool. I don't judge the people that decide to vent and say all kinds of shit. It's all good. Everybody's human. Everybody has their a right to say what they want to say. But you have to choose your groups. I mean, this group is all about helping, and it's taken seriously. So let's be serious on this group, and do whatever the hell you want on other groups. If they have no moderators and they're not moderating it, then just go as you wish. But if you come back on to this group, let's just be serious about it and have fun somewhere else. You know, you can have fun, but I mean, just be a little more respectful and serious, and be there to help, basically.
Amen.
Also, too, Rick, if you look at the guys that were maybe blocked a couple years ago, Window Film Revolution is a completely different group now.
That's true.
You know, most groups, I'm sorry, was a shit fight. You could just take shots at people, and it was the Wild Wild West. So now when they come back in, you know, there's different housekeeping altogether. So I see it as a positive, man. Like, everyone changes, and they should be given the opportunity. Maybe they're in a bad space, you know, maybe they grew up a bit. Maybe they were just a pissed off employee that wasn't getting paid enough. Maybe things in their personal life have changed, and, you know, they started reading, they started going to church, they started hanging out with more senior tinners. Man, let's do it.
That's what I love about you, boy.
Right on.
All right, let's let them all back in, whatever. But I'm not. But listen, y'all are celebrating now. But I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen.
We're gonna be busy.
Hey, but Rick, isn't this kind of the same thing? Like when we're looking at, like, the membership, or looking at anything, to not look at it with trying to predict if it's going to be successful or not, but try to rather use that focus to try to make it as successful as it can be. Because I feel like you're kind of coming from an angle of predicting that this isn't a good idea, as opposed to how can we make this into something that works and is an opportunity.
That's why I say that's why it's RCL and not just Rick Tallman, because Rick Tallman would no way in hell do this. This is your baby, whatever. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I'm just saying I've been around a little bit, and my educated opinion is, I don't know, there's like over 1,000 people blocked. A bunch of them are like from literally they want to be actors and models. So, you know, if you want to look through all them and figure out who's who and who to unblock, I'm cool with it. I'm just saying,
the thing is,
I'm not
like,
take the time.
I know on Facebook, I'm friends with a lot of tinters, like thousands. So, like, if I see that I have like 100 friends in common, I feel pretty certain that that's probably another tinter. But if it's like
That's true.
0 friends in common, I'm like, you're probably not a tinter because you'd be friends with somebody out of that whole group.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's on you at this point. Listen, Eric is going to begin this and run this. The responsibility falls on you, good or bad or indifferent, brother.
But see, I don't, you know, I know I don't know if like you're being like kidding, and I do appreciate you like being so open-minded. But I do want to point out that like you don't receive criticism well from people who don't necessarily understand or want to like support what you're doing. But then in this opportunity, you're kind of like taking yourself out of it as opposed to being part of that group and saying, hey, what's going to make this work? I'm with you. I'm going to do everything I can. You're kind of like, I'm not going to do anything. It's all you. And like, I feel like when you're rallying for groups to rally behind you, you got to also rally behind the group.
Well, if I can say something, not, you know, in Rick's defense, is he knows why those people were kicked out initially. So he, you know what I mean?
We have to hear that from Rick then, if that's the case. If Rick knows something we don't, then we need to hear it, not say you're on your own, good luck.
Yeah, but why put it forward now when we want to let these people back in? Let's give them a second chance. But Rick knows exactly why they were kicked out. Some of us don't know as much as he does because he's been there since the beginning. So, but having said that, that's probably why he's more on the defensive about this. But let's just give it another go and see. I mean, that like he said before, we're all in this together. We're 13 RCL members that will decide who we bring on. I mean, we're going to bring everybody back on now, but he knows, you know, again, the what happened and why the other people got kicked out. But hey, it is what it is. Let's make it happen, and we'll see.
Listen, I'm not against this. I'm just saying I put my effort into it over how many years it's been. So if it's going to get reversed, you know, somebody other than me is going to be hitting the reverse button. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you know, I don't necessarily think it's a good idea, but that's why we're a group, because all of y'all said, yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's do it. You know, I mean, it is what it is. And, you know, I'm not going to be like, you know, listen, if a few people come in that used to be here and they're nice people, or at least they're not negative, I'm cool. Even if only, okay, if we get 10 members that were blocked that come back and are cool, out of the whole 1,000, I'll consider it a success. All right, so that's a low, you know, a low goal to reach right there. So if you can come back in a month, 2 months, whatever, and say, Rick, you remember when we had this idea and you said, don't let the assholes in? Well, here's 10 of those assholes that turned out to be good. If you do that, I'll be like, okay, I was completely wrong. You're good to go. Is that fair? Like, I don't know, you know. I mean,
hey guys, I've got to.
Huh?
I got to jump off now.
All right.
Sorry to leave early.
Thanks,
no, that's all right, boy. Hey, when you
Thanks,
gonna be back
guys.
in America?
I appreciate it. There's no planes, bro.
Sailboat.
Too far to swim, man. All right, guys. I appreciate your time, everyone, and everyone that commented. I'll get back to it. I've seen Randy just posted. Hey, Randy, hope you're doing well. And yeah, guys.
All right, Boyd.
See you, boy.
See you.
See you, brother.
All right. Well,
all right. So we got 2 things that's coming from this conversation, right? We're gonna make a list on RCA.
And all of a sudden, Rick was gone in the middle of a sentence.
that is exactly what it's like. That's exactly. All right.
Rick was in the middle of that conversation, and then boom, it's gone.
All right. We're back. So Rick, I'm sorry, it got cut off actually in the middle of you talking.
What
You were
was I
saying that we got two things out of this live stream, and we're going to write them down, and they were.
Yeah, so we'll make a list for all the ideas. And listen, if you're a member of if you're a member of the website, even if you're not a member, if you got a good idea for the industry, put it up and we'll consider it. Like, tag us, be like, hey, I think this is a good idea, and we'll stick it up on the good idea list. And when we can get to it, we'll get to it, right? We'll prioritize stuff and do it. Okay, so that's the first thing we got from this, and then we're gonna let all the people in that may or may not be good at this point, but hopefully more of them are good than not.
Okay. Very, very cool. Is there anything anybody else wanted to get out before we wrap this up? No time constraints on my end.
Any questions that we may want to answer?
We would be kind of going back and maybe rehashing some topics. I have no problem asking them if you're ready for them.
You know what, I want to say something as working on the film company side now. What I've been noticing is companies wanting to switch from one brand to the other because they can't get inventory in time and whatnot. And I think what most people are forgetting is that FedEx, UPS, all these companies are having a hard time adjusting.
Yeah.
Everybody ordering online. The whole world is ordering through Amazon, and so they're all trying to adapt. And they forget to blame the carriers a lot, and they blame whatever manufacturer, whatever film company. So we all have to be better inventory managers and think that it's going to take 2, 3 to 4 days more for delivery, and it's not necessarily the film company's fault. It's the carrier's fault. A lot of the times they're losing packages. They're understaffed. They've got people staying at home. That's what I want to add. So, and I'm not just speaking for Expel. I'm speaking for all brands out there. We're all going through the same thing. I think, we, like I said, we have to be better inventory managers and be a little more patient. And it's hard to be patient during this pandemic, but because we're all going through this together. But I just thought I'd put it out there.
Yeah, if you use Amazon, you know that things are delayed. Everything's delayed. Things that take 1 day take 4 days. Sometimes things get lost and come 7 days later. So back to your question, if you should be ordering film, you shouldn't be on a 1 to 3 day basis. Meaning, like, if you need your film and 2 extra days is going to throw you off, you should at least have a little buffer of maybe a week in there, 2 weeks. If something needs to be reshipped, allow it the opportunity to be reshipped.
Yep.
Yeah, I know the post office is jacked up because I don't know, a week ago I think we sent out like 30 or 50 different things within that week, and on one day we had a mess load that we all sent out at once. And I mean, there was like a month of separation between some of those. Like, they all got sent out at the same time, but there was like yeah. So what you're saying is I know the post office is jacked up right now. UPS, FedEx, they're all having problems. Everybody.
Yeah.
Logistics is no fun right now.
So before we wrap it up, one last question, if I could just ask you, Dean, what is one big secret about something coming up with Expel that you can tell us ahead of time? Lay it on us.
Well, there's not really a big secret. I mean, we're coming up with a whole new lineup of our ceramic coating, the Fusion Plus, for different surfaces. We've got some for marine surfaces, for upholstery. We've got, specifically made for glass, rims and calipers, high temperature areas. So I think that's the biggest thing. We've also got our black PPF coming out eventually. We don't have an ETA, but it's coming out soon. That's about it. That's about it. I mean, our antimicrobial film is doing very well. We have a whole new lineup of that as well. We've got.
Do you have plenty of stock of that? That's not sold out anymore?
Nope. We're fully stocked. Everything's going good. I mean, no huge announcement that I know of, but yeah, I mean, as far as I know, unless you know something I don't.
I'm just trying to get the inside scoop while we're on here. That's all.
Yeah, no, I think we're just things are coming out soon. I mean, the Fusion Plus ceramic coating edition is coming out next week. There'll be a huge announcement made for that, and that's about it as far as new stuff right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Grassroots.
All right. Well, we could wrap it up. Tin Man Chris said real quick. He said, "Ah, shit, Garrett Wilson Jr. here." Garrett's going to be on next week, isn't he? Do you remember? I think so. I think he was going to be on next week. But next week, next Thursday, there'll be, another 3 or 4 or 5 Window Film Revolution core group leaders, and we'll be doing this again. Maybe some same faces, some new faces, and so on. And thanks again, everyone here, for doing it, and thanks everybody for watching. And I think some good stuff comes out of every single one of these.
Can I say one short thing?
Yeah.
I appreciate each of y'all. I appreciate when I get challenged. I appreciate all of that. I appreciate everything that comes to the table. Sometimes we have discussions and we're not completely comfortable with them, but we still have them. And, Eric, you asked the hard questions sometimes. I still love you for it. In fact, that's one of the reasons I love you is because you got balls. A lot of people don't. I got more respect for somebody with balls and I'm not talking about physical gender. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, sometimes certain things have to be asked and said, and you don't have a problem doing it. And that's what I love about it.
Look, I appreciate that, and that's something that I very, very much respect you, and you made very apparent from getting to know you for the last year or so that you are super open to things. You are super, super open, and that openness is like such an enormous positive trait that is one that's very tied to success, because you just have to be open, you just have to listen, and that's you. And you've never taken offense with anything, and I always appreciate that. And to your point, I really, at the core, believe that everything comes down to communication. And if somebody out there right now is talking shit about something, they're a conversation away from being friends. It just has to be the conversation.
And they have every right to talk shit about something they don't agree with, and that's why we need to discuss. You can't have everybody agreeing with you all the time, right? That's why that's why it is what it is.
Listen, even amongst us leaders, we don't agree on everything all the time, and it's so beautiful. Like, we get to watch, how our decision-making process goes, how each of us thinks about certain stuff. And I've learned to respect and appreciate people I would have never talked to in the past. And so that it's just opened up a world of different thought process, a different perspective. Everybody has their own perspective, and it's great that we don't agree on stuff, because that gets, just like you say all the time, Eric, that gets the conversation going, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. I love it, like straight up love it. And listen, we're all going to have, hot topics that's going to upset us and stuff like that. But we're committed, and we still stick with it. Everything that I say is not great. Everything that any of us say is not great. Like, we're human, but we accept each other with our human flaws and good traits, and so I don't know. WFR is just about the human experience in our industry. That's what it's about. It's about the human experience of interacting with other people and becoming better at interacting. There's a lot of great window tinters that can't hold a conversation for shit, and I used to be one of them. It's just, we all bring our positives to the table, and for the most part, we all ignore the negatives, right? Like, because we're all going to have negative, and that's what I love about us. That's what I care about us. We can have differences and we work through them, instead of like, like I said, back in the day, man, if I had differences with somebody, I just, the hell with it. I ain't got time for it, right? But Eric, you've helped me change that. The RCO group's helped me change. I love it, man. It's like we actually have the opportunity to continue doing great things. We want to say do great things. We already are. We're already doing great things. So I don't know. Sorry.
Thank you. I think that's a great way to wrap it up, unless anyone else has anything to say.
You're the man at interviewing, Eric. I must tell you that all the time, every show, man. Just I love it. Keep it going. You know how to keep it rocking. You got it. You're fine. Quick thinking. Love all of it, man. I love your show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And I
Real.
want to say something that I do appreciate as well is sometimes in the comments, it's clear that people are trying to make me laugh. And I'll give that comment that made me laugh today to Cody Becker. I just kind of laughed in the middle of what you were saying, Rick, and it had nothing to do with you. It was that I glanced over and saw Cody's comment, and he had said, "Is this dude stoned or just generally that happy?" And I'm not sure which one of us four he was talking about when he sent it, but I thought it was hilarious. So thank you, Cody, for...
We're all smiling. I think we all burned a doobie before we started, right?
And on that note, have a great night, folks. Thanks for doing that. See everybody next Wednesday.
God bless.
See you guys.